Hello and welcome to the Journals of the Information Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Jacqueline Stockwell. I'm the CEO and founder of Leadership Through Data, an award-winning dyslexic entrepreneur and the author of the international best-selling book, Blooming Good Information Management. This podcast is for information professionals who know their work matters, but sometimes find it hard to get heard, get buy-in, or get things over the line. Here we talk about influence, leadership, confidence, and what it really takes to get things done. If that sounds like you, you're in the right place. Now, today's episode feels a bit special. It's episode 50, and instead of bringing on a guest, I wanted to pause and reflect. Over the past few weeks and year, I've been listening back to earlier episodes, not as a host, but as a learner. And something really stood out. We spend a lot of our time in the profession talking about systems, metadata, governance, retention, structure. Now, that's the work. But most of the problem where we struggle with isn't technical. It's the human aspect of it. It's about influence. It's about confidence. And it's about whether people actually listen when we speak. So today I want to talk about the person behind the information. And I want to use a simple framework that I share in my book. Who you are, what you do, and what you want to achieve. When those three things don't line up, it becomes really hard to influence anything. So one message that came through again and again from past episodes is that the quiet information leader struggles. So for years, many of us were taught that if things worked quietly in the background, we were doing a great job. But here's the reality now. If no one understands the value of your work, it won't be used and it won't be prioritized. And influence isn't optional anymore. You can build the best systems in the world, but if you can't influence a senior leader, a project sponsor, or a team to change how they work, then nothing sticks. And this is where the first part of the framework matters, who you are. Influencing starts with how you show up. Not your job title, but how people experience you, working with you. The most effective information leaders take the time to understand others' thoughts and cares, what they generally care about. They talk about outcomes, not rules. They talk about benefits and make people really feel listened to and not just corrected or no, you haven't done that right. This isn't about you being loud or pushy. Influence is built through trust, clarity, and connection. So now I want to talk about personal branding. Now, that's something that often makes us information professionals uncomfortable, like personal branding. Why would we want to do that? And if you're thinking, this isn't for me, I'm not a marketeer, I don't want to do that, I'm going to press stop right now, don't. Carry on listening, because I want you to hear this. If you don't shape your personal brand, someone else will. We already have a brand. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room. It's whether people lean in when you speak or mentally switch off. Information leaders don't struggle because their work isn't important. We struggle because we're not being heard. This is where my brand comes in. I want you to be bold. I want you to be brave, and I want you to be beautiful. Not loud, not flashy, not vague, but clear, confident, and human. Your personal brand is how information management becomes visible and trusted in your organizations and outside it. And this leads to the second part of what you do. Your brand isn't your job title. You don't just stand up and quote your CVs and your qualifications and all the things you've done. It's your presence. That's when I use something to customers for them to think about their brand. I ask them to think of 3 to 5 words that describe how you want people to experience you. Not what you do, but how it makes you feel to work with you. So if you just take a time to pause and ask yourself, what are 3 to 5 things that describe you? So for examples, are you calm? Are you strategic? Are you approachable? Are you clear in your communication? Are you practical? Are you creative? Are you human in your approach? Think about those 3 to 5 things. And I'd love you to reach out to me on LinkedIn and tell me what those 3 to 5 things are. My own brand is colourful, it's fun, I'm bold, I'm brave, and I'm beautiful. Because I want people to feel safe. I want them to feel energized and confident and inspired around me. And these words act like a compass. They guide me. They guide how I want to show up, how I want to be perceived. And they'll also guide you. So you need to think about how you speak, how you write your emails, how how you show up in meetings, how you present ideas, and just have a real think about those things. So here's something to think about. If someone described you at work in 3 words, what would those be? And how you would want to be known? Are they things that you would want to be known? Because when your brand is intentional, your influence becomes international. The third theme isn't about tools or strategies. It's just about courage. Every influential leader that I've spoken to has had a moment where they've chose discomfort over safety. So they've pushed those boundaries out of feeling the fear and doing it anyway, pushing out of their comfort zone. And this is where the third part of the framework comes in, what you want to achieve. It's not your job title. It's not your next promotion. It's your impact. What impact do you want to have? So I'm Jacqueline Stockwell, CEO and founder at Leadership Through Data. I inspire, motivate and educate information leaders across the world to focus on their messaging through storytelling and visual aids. Over the next 12 months, I want to accelerate information management practices in organisations with a program called Empower. So you can use that. That would be my elevator pitch. Other examples would be I'm Jacqueline Stockwell. I'm a dyslexic entrepreneur. I built a business from my NHS days into an international global enterprise now. I've written a book and I speak publicly. Not because I was confident, but because I realised being brilliant in the background just wasn't enough. If I wanted to change how information management is seen, presented, I actually needed to stop hiding behind my business and actually be the voice to be seen and to be heard. And on this journey, I felt uncomfortable in doing that. Imposter syndrome doesn't mean that you're failing. It actually means that you're starting to grow. And if you're waiting until you feel ready, you'll wait forever, trust me. As I finish this episode, I don't want to give you a checklist. I really want to leave you with a choice. The influence doesn't come from knowing more. It comes from how you show up. So this week, be bold. Say the thing you keep editing in your head over and over again. Be brave. Have the conversation you've been avoiding. Be beautiful. Not perfect, not polished, just real, kind and human. Information leadership isn't about standing quietly behind the data and information you protect. It's about stepping forward and letting yourself be heard. Thank you for listening. I'm Jacqueline Stockwell, and this has been the Journals of the Information Entrepreneur. Until next time, be bold, be brave, and be beautiful. Thank you for listening to the Journals of the Information Entrepreneur. If this podcast is helping you think differently about your role, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the weekly episodes. And if you're wondering where to focus next, check out the Empower Scorecard, the link in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Bye.